Mergers and acquisitions in Africa have been driven by the low penetration rate of the continent, also financial investments made by major operators or major groups. But we also have to give credit to the regulation environment on the continent, or I would say the evolution of the regulation environment. If you take the example of Uganda, Tanzania, and Nigeria, which are the most competitive markets on the continent, I would say now, the regulatory regime, the regulation regime has played a key role in the sense that if we take the example of the three markets, we've seen an evolution from a specific licensing regime, like mobile licensing regime or just ISP licensing regime, to a converged licensing regime. We had before like just mobile licenses or ISP licenses or fixed licenses. And now in these three markets, the regulation authorities have migrated to single or converged licenses, which means that if you take the example of Uganda, prior to 2005, we had licenses, we had mobile licenses, fixed licenses, ISP licenses, and now we've moved to either infrastructure provider licenses or service provider licenses, and this has increased the numbers of players on the market. We still talking about Uganda. The number of players has increased from 3 prior to 2005 to nearly 5 or 6 nowadays, and more are coming on the market. In Nigeria, the NCC, the Regulation Authority, has introduced a converged licensing regime as well. And operators have, especially CDMA players, which were prior to this new regime only offering services in specific regions of the country, or just were only allowed to provide, for instance, just fixed services or internet services, have now access to a wider population. We take the example of Starcoms, for instance, which subscription growth grew by over 200% over just the past 2 years. Over the past 2 years, when the operator migrated from just a fixed wireless operator's license to a converged license, a national player. The new licensing regimes in Nigeria, Tanzania, or Uganda have also fueled the growth of CDMA players on these various markets, mainly because there was less spectrum available for operators to roll out GSM, and also because if we take the example of Nigeria, most of the operators migrating from the previous license regime to the new license regime were already using CDMA to provide services, which was mainly fixed wireless. The effect of the new licensing regimes in markets such as Tanzania, Uganda, and Nigeria has helped the increase of number of players on the market, which was an effect that was wanted by the regulation authority. But another point of the new licensing regime, and especially if you take the examples of Tanzania and Uganda, was also to increase the network sharing opportunities. The fact that they decided to split between service provider license and infrastructure license was also to enable service providers who didn't have access to either spectrum or infrastructure to provide services, to segment services using other networks infrastructures. This, for the moment, has not really happened, and we don't know yet when this is going to happen, but this was an effect that was wanted by the regulation authorities as well.